And you're welcome back. It is the 10 o'clock hour here for Breakfast Extra. And now we turn to a moment of reflection. Today we honor the lives of Sina Ghami and Latif Ayodele as we take you live to their funeral service. We invite you to join us in silence and also gratitude. Also to help be with the families at this point in time. We have our international correspondent, Afua Hagan, who's going to be joining us and giving us live updates from the ceremony. And also in studio here we have Babatunde Koiki, New Central Sports Editor. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. Afua, let's start with you there live in the UK. You want to give us an idea what the location is, what's happening, where you are right now?
Yes, that's right. Good morning. I'm at London Central Mosque here in Regent's Park, and that's where the Janazah prayers are taking place for those two friends of Anthony Joshua, who sadly passed away in that car crash in Lagos on Monday. These two friends are so widely regarded, so loved in this community. You can see the amount of people that have turned out behind me to be able to commemorate them. Now, we did see the two coffins going into the mosque about 2 hours ago, and they're going into the mosque where the Janazah prayers will be taking place at 10 o'clock, so within the next hour. And like I said, lots of people gathering here this morning to be able to pay their respects, to be able to support friends and family of these two young men. It's so loved in their community.
So loved indeed there, as we can see the crowds just at the back there. Afua, I do have to ask though, were you able to speak to any of the bereaved members or anyone there who was attending the prayers? What's the mood like with them and what did they have to tell you?
The mood is very, very somber. A couple of people that I spoke to earlier on when I got here said the most important thing for them was to be able to come and support the family. It's all about supporting the family and supporting the community at this time. People saying that they just wanted to be here to lend their support, that is so important at this moment, that the families and the friends, the close friends of these two young men know that they are being prayed for and know that they are being cared for. And there is a lot of people here I spoke to who are neither friends or family, who are members of the community and just want to make it known, to feel their presence, to add to that sense of coming together for the families. We have seen people carriers going into the mosque, so there's cars parked up and down the road, but actually being able to access the mosque, which has just been blocked by the bus behind me. And so we have seen family members going in. We are not entirely sure if the heavyweight boxer Anthony Joshua is going to be here today. Now, there was some speculation that perhaps he won't be attending the prayers because he doesn't want it to turn into a media circus and he doesn't want it to be all about himself. Yesterday, we heard that he was undecided whether he would turn up. But like I said, we have seen blacked out people carriers accessing the driveway of the mosque that you can see behind me. And actually you can see some cars going in right now. Perhaps he is in one of those cars. We just don't know.
Afua, would like to know exactly what the Janazah prayer entails and especially how significant it is to the families.
These Janazah prayers are so significant. It's a real chance for the family members to express their grief, but also to reflect on the lives lived of these two young men. To have such support, such a huge number of people turn out for these prayers is really, really important to them. So this is a very significant part of the burial process and indeed of the grief process as well.
Grief process indeed. I have to come here in the studio and talk to you, Koiki. I know. I can see it in your eyes. You are getting teary-eyed as well.
It's just sweat.
It's just sweat. You are just a Teddy. Anthony Joshua at this time is going, I mean, we can see for the crowds necessarily how far they're loved. Anthony, on the other hand, I'm certain it's a hard thing for him. Do you think he will make an appearance? And can he make an appearance? And
that's an interesting question because a few days ago when he was discharged, what we were told, what the public was told, that he was medically fit to go home and continue his recuperation. Now, we don't know whether that includes the ability to have international travel, but I'm sure that he would want to be there because these are two of his closest friends. They've been together for a decade. If you check Anthony Joshua's Instagram feed and that of Sina Ghami or Latif Ayodele as well, you will definitely see the trio in different parts of the world together, doing things together. And this was no surprise. They were also traveling together when that tragedy happened. I was also reliably informed that one of the eyewitnesses who was at the scene said when Joshua stepped out of the car and saw the bodies of his two friends, that it's as if his eyes glazed over. It was almost like it was disbelief. So it's a very personal, very touchy moment for both Anthony Joshua and the wider boxing community, because these are two men who have been with him for when he really was at the peak of his career, doing great things. Now the question a lot of people are asking is Joshua able to rise from this and return to top of boxing? And in history, I've probably seen maybe 3 people who've ever done something like that. In fact, just recently, a footballer retired from football because his brother died. So the question a lot of people are asking is, should he come back? You've made more than enough money. What are you trying to prove? There are those who are saying he should come back and continue fighting in order to honor the memory of these two gentlemen. It's in a catch-22 situation. Right. But I wouldn't be surprised if he called it quits.
What about the rumors about him retiring from boxing? How true are those?
That's what I said. There's no word.
Have we confirmed the audio we heard yesterday is my question.
Oh, no. It's, so the dangers of AI, people. I mean, we've been seeing the president talking to...
those are very interesting ones.
Yeah, so, I mean, those are things I know people are speculating about right now. Everybody has their say, but ultimately, it's Anthony Joshua who's going to decide if he wants to continue or not.
Right. At this time, as we're looking at the bodies have now arrived in the UK, the Janazah prayer is about to start. Whether Anthony will show up or not show up, let's look at the boxing community at large. Not only were they part of the members of Team for Anthony, but they also had contributions who they've worked extensively in the boxing cycle as well. One was a conditioning trainer and the other was, I think, his personal trainer.
His personal trainer.
Yes, so let's look at that as well in terms of how this would hit the community.
Yeah, it hits them pretty hard because these were two very highly regarded gentlemen who worked with Anthony Joshua for as long as I can remember. And it's a loss to the boxing community worldwide because the thing about boxing is that when you have a camp or when you have a team of people, they become more than employees. They become family. Yeah. These are people you share your deepest fears with, your personal moments with.
Because boxing itself, the crucial part of it is mental.
Absolutely. These are the people who psych you to get out of bed, that look, it's time to go training, I don't want to train. These are the people who push you to your limits, beyond your limits. These are the people who know you better than almost anyone. So when you lose these kind of people in your background, the question is, when you go to your next training session and you can see and feel the void of these two people, what do you do then? How do you recover from that? And that's why we've been, Anthony Joshua is definitely going to need the services of an excellent therapist, a psychotherapist as well, a sports therapist as well, because what he's going through now is beyond belief. And I was talking about, boxers that I know who suffered major tragedies, who managed to come back. But the last example was way back in, I think, 2011. That was Daniel Jacobs, who was diagnosed with a very rare form of bone cancer. Doctors said that he might never ever walk again, but he did come back and he went on to become a world champion. Even before that, there was a Vinny Pazienza who also suffered a serious car accident, broke his neck and his spine in multiple places as well. They said he'd never walk again. He came back as well, also became a world champion as well. 13 months later, and his story was actually the subject of a movie. Now, before that, there was also Max Baer, who accidentally killed his opponent in the ring. That was in 1930. He was shattered, lost 4 of his next 6 fights, but ultimately went on to become world champion again. But these are isolated incidents, pockets.
If you were to call it, do you think Joshua would continue?
Let me
rephrase. You think he should continue?
If and when Anthony Joshua decides to call it quits, he leaves a huge void in boxing, because for a decade or more, he has carried this sport on his back, like no one else. Sold out stadiums, brought more eyeballs to the sport. A lot of people actually took up boxing because of Anthony Joshua. If he leaves a gaping void in the sport. But inevitably, he will leave because of time. But nobody wants to see him forced out because of a personal tragedy. Should he leave? I don't know.
You don't want to make that decision for him.
Afua, let me quickly come to you there. I know you're out in the cold, and well done for all the hard work. Now, we know Sina Ghami and Latif Ayodele, they are either conditioning coaches as well as nutritionists and training coaches for Anthony Joshua. But beyond that, give us a sense of what their lives were like for their community. Who were they beyond those titles?
They were well known within the boxing community, within the local community. I mean, they were really into health and fitness. One of them had a gym. That gym has actually been closed since his death. So many people talking about, especially on social media, talking about their interactions with these two young men, seeing how positive they were, how much they contributed to the health and fitness community, how admired they were, for how far they had come in their careers. I mean, working with heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, they were absolutely at the top of their game. But as well as being on the top of their game, these were young men who gave back to their communities. I mean, they were doing charity work in Gambia, they had been doing charity work in Dubai, all these places across the world, as well as working with Anthony Joshua, and as well as doing work here in their community in London. They were so highly regarded, and I think that's why, I mean, even from the last time I spoke to you guys, this crowd has swelled, and I think that's why you have so many people who have turned out here today, because they made such an impact in their lives, both of them, in health, in fitness, in charity work. They were really, really, you know, uphold, well-loved members of this community.
Just to add to that, actually, a lot of people don't know, but Ghami and Latif was not originally a Muslim. Oh. He took the Shahada. He actually converted to Islam a few years ago. So that's why it's quite significant for a lot of people now, because, you know, what he's achieved ever since he became Muslim is also pretty much of a void and a source of pain to the community as well.
All right. Afua, you were right. The crowd seems to have swelled, and I'm wondering if you have captured any conversation. I want to know what the mood is like there as the people come together to pay their last respects. Have you caught anyone talking about the instance? So what happened? Do you know how people are carrying this grief?
It's a very somber mood, I must say. No one was willing to speak to us on camera just yet, perhaps because the prayers haven't taken place, but it's a very somber mood outside this mosque. I've been here for about 2 hours. Let me tell you, it's absolutely freezing, but people have been here since very early. And what people have said to me is that it was very important for them to support the friends and the family of these two young men, to make sure that they were here for them, to show them that they are being held by the community. There's a lot of shock, a lot of grief, a lot of devastation of how this could happen when these three young men, and I include Anthony Joshua in that when I say these three young men, were on top of the world. They were at the top of their game, you know, off the back of this huge, highly publicized fight, you know, an incredible deal that they did with Netflix, or one of a kind, to be literally on top of the world and then to have their lives taken away from them so quickly, so cruelly, and so publicly, I think is what a lot of people are so shocked by. And that devastation is felt from the people that I've spoken to this morning. Very somber, still very shocked, almost a week on, still devastated, but wanted to make sure that they were here to support the friends and the family of Sina Ghami and Ghami Ayodele, these two young men who were so well loved in this community.
Do you see any dignitaries? When you look at the list of attendees, did you see any familiar faces, more like public figures in that community, or influential figures in the community?
Well, this is the thing, is that this guest list hasn't been publicized. Anthony Joshua, like I said, is undecided over whether he will actually be here today, because he doesn't want to take the attention away from his friends. But we have seen, going into the entrance, this entrance where you're seeing all these people behind me, we have seen people carriers, we have seen blacked out vehicles entering through those gates, going into the mosque, and people disembarking away from this public entrance, you know, in the privacy of the mosque. Perhaps he could be amongst those mourners. We've seen local boxers disembarking from cars and going in as well. And I think really people want to be able to come and pay their respects privately. You know, there's a lot of people here, but let me tell you, it's deathly silent. It's very, very quiet. There's no conversation. All you can hear is the traffic. It's a very, very somber mood here this morning.
All right, thank you, Afua.
Somber. Afua, many thanks for that in-depth in-depth report.
Let's come back to the studio here. Koiki is still with us. Koiki, now, one of the deepest conversations you and I have been about death. I don't know if you remember, so I understand how deeply you feel about it. Everybody, actually, but that conversation always resonates each time I see you. And it's funny that we're talking about death here again. Very unfortunate, but the instance also put Nigeria in the bigger international light, and we can't run away from that. It might not be a sports question, but I'm going to still ask you. In light of what happened, Anthony Joshua as the poster boy for the dysfunction that seems to be Nigeria, no emergency care, no first responders, being extricated very unprofessionally and into a police vehicle. What do you think that portends for Nigerian PR?
Well, first and foremost, let me quickly get back to Sina Ghami and
please, real quick.
Ayodele. So, because the boxing community is such a small, very well-knit, close-knit community, everybody knows everybody.
They are, yeah.
Even in any country, in Nigeria, in the UK, in the US, everybody knows who this person's trainer is, who this person's nutritionist is.
Yeah.
So when this kind of things happen, it's a loss that everybody feels deeply. As for Nigeria, it is shocking PR for Nigeria because the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, people die on that particular stretch of road every day. You open the papers or the websites, 5 people dead, 10 people dead, head-on collision. It happens every day. The only reason that this one is receiving such international appeal or do I say coverage is because Anthony Joshua was involved. Other than that, it would have been cricket, silence, and the same thing. The only reason Joshua is alive is because he wasn't doing the typical Nigerian big man thing and sitting in the owner's corner. He was sitting right behind the driver, which is what saved his life. Otherwise, we'd be talking about a completely different funeral right now. The other issue here is that there's so many things to unpack. The way he was extricated from the vehicle. Now, the safety manual for this kind of procedures is unless the vehicle is burning, you do not move the injured people because you don't know whether they may be suffering injuries. Yeah, whether they have broken bones, there's internal bleeding, spinal injuries. You might be doing more harm than good in trying to move them. The fact that there was no emergency medical services within minutes of that happening, and it was actually moved from the scene in the police truck. Oh, I mean, the pictures were plastered all over the planet, and it didn't do Nigeria any form of good. Because it was Anthony Joshua that was involved. That's why 2 state governments, Ogun State government and Lagos State government, were involved in his care and his treatment at the hospital here in Lagos. How many people get killed on that road every day? How many people get government assistance to sort out their hospital bills? And another sad part, look at this, it is depressing. The vast number of people with phones trying to catch a glimpse of him. Ordinarily, that place should have been cordoned off, allowing the medical services to have access to him. And we're hearing that maybe Anthony Joshua's phone was even stolen while all this went on. Unconfirmed reports also said that as well. So it's an absolute PR mess for Nigeria. The driver of that truck also, the station truck, that was the truck that was parked by the side of the expressway, we hear is on the run as well. We've not heard anything about the company that owns the truck, whether they're also going to be prosecuted as well, because Article 4 of the Nigerian Highway Code stipulates that you cannot park on the hard shoulder unless it is an emergency. Now, we hear that this truck was parking trying to offload soya beans. We don't know whether that was true or not. So there's just so many things to unpack here, but it's just an absolute PR mess, an absolute administrative mess.
So, Koiki, we just saw a diagram there that actually gives you an idea of what could have happened. But from that diagram, you can see where the truck was parked on the shoulder of the road. You can also see that the car, at whatever speed it was coming on the shoulder of the road. Now there is talks of it being a tire bust.
I'm not so sure.
Now there's also other eyewitness account that says that there were other cars involved and that they didn't wait.
So
what could you, from this diagram, what in your unprofessional, you're not a first responder or emergency attendant, but what did you think could have been the most likely instance that happened? I
might not be a professional responder, but I'm a very good driver.
Exactly. From your experience as a driver.
I've driven across multiple highways in Nigeria, and one thing I can tell you is that we do not know what is called lane discipline in Nigeria. You know this. You drive very well as well. In Nigeria, you find the slowest articulated vehicles,
On the
trailers, tankers on the fast lane.
Yeah.
You find the slower vehicles in the middle lane and the last lane. This is a 3-lane highway, 6-lane, 3 lanes in either way. From the Lagos end up onto Shagamu, it's 6 lanes. From Shagamu up onto Ibadan, it's 2 lanes. Now, this is the Lagos-Shagamu part of the expressway, which is 3 lanes. What I suspect was that the driver was trying to overtake on the outer lane. He now got onto the hard shoulder and was trying to, with speed, overtake the car in front of him.
That's
but miscalculation, misjudging the distance, momentum, and the rear of the trailer is pure steel.
Yeah.
Now we also hear that LS 570 that Joshua was riding in is probably armored. You saw the pictures. For you to shear, I mean, look at this.
That's
a
major
big SUV.
speed.
You don't share that like tissue paper unless you must have been doing what, 140, 150, 180?
So it's interesting the way you described it, because that's what exactly I thought when I saw the video,
Exactly.
the diagram myself. I'm like, that seems like someone's
what I
trying to
think he's
overdo
trying
and overtake.
So when he did that, the last minute trying to cut in front,
He caught the car.
He took
Caught
the
the
entire
trailer.
passenger side.
Sliced it out. Sliced it
like
out.
tissue.
Now, we have to go on a break very soon,
very
but we
quickly,
have Afia, who's
Afua
still out
Hagan.
there in the cold. Afia, are there any more developments? Have we seen any dignitaries, for instance, come for the prayers?
So at the moment, literally every time I speak to you, you go and come back to me. I'm going to let you see
It
the crowd
swells even more.
once again. Now you can. There's no room on the pavement on that side. You've got the crowd spilling into the road. I know that there was talk of some security being deployed, and I think we will see that happening because, like I said, the crowd on that side of the street is now spilling into the road, and it is getting busier. It's Sunday morning. It's still quite early here in London, but the road is getting busier. There is much more congestion. We are seeing those blacked out vehicles going in that entrance and into the mosque. So perhaps we are seeing more friends and family. Perhaps Anthony Joshua has gone in, but like I say, that crowd is building, and it's building with every minute. You've got more press arriving as well. One thing I will say is that earlier on when I arrived a couple of hours ago and I saw the 2 coffins driving into the entrance, it was just myself and a couple of other people. That crowd has swelled. But these Janazah prayers, it has been quite widely publicised on social media, so we can expect actually this crowd to probably grow. I don't know that all the people who are gathered outside will be admitted into the mosque for those Janazah prayers, and I just don't think they will fit.
After what's the itinerary for today? After the Janazah prayer this morning, what happens next?
After the Janazah prayers, then you have the burial, and then you have the private family gatherings. Those details haven't been made public because, like I said, they are the private family gatherings. They will be taking place across the day, across London, after these Janazah prayers have happened here at the Central London Mosque.
Afia, thank you. Appreciate you for all the hard work. We definitely will come back to you as the story continues to develop. Afua Hagan there, just outside the mosque there for the Janazah prayer, funeral rites as it starts for Sina Ghami, and of course the late Latif Ayodele, both victims of the tragedy car crash that happened on 29th of December that killed them. But the only person who survived was the driver and, of course, Anthony Joshua.